Well, hello, folks. I hope you're well. I really do. Yes, I really do. I'll tell you what, it's still on the ground today. It really is. There's no showbiz news. Nothing happening out there. Nothing at all. I was almost looking for things to cover. And an old friend of mine, DLT, sent me... Not DLT. No, oh, good. I'm not branding him with him. Didn't he get done for sexual assault? I'm sure he did. On the Mrs. Merton show, if memory serves. No, not DLT. DTS. Dave the Soup mentioned something earlier about potholes. Potholes. The blight on our landscape. Oh, aye, everyone's on about them now, everybody. It's really, really weird. Because potholes didn't bother me at one time. I just thought it was something that different governments used as a way of saying, well, if you back us, we'll do this with them and we'll do that with them. We know the roads aren't that good, but we're going to sort them. Everybody's mentioned them. Nobody's done anything about them. Anyway, Dave mentioned it today to me, and I thought to myself, that is one I've been meaning to cover. On the back of it, you see, but it's weird. I might have told you folk I moved house about 3 months ago, which I did. I moved to another part of that there, Warrington. Anyways, I'm picking the missus up in her previous job just as we moved in. She's somewhere else now. And I've gone for her in the car, because her car's off the road. And I've gone for her in the car, and I've cracked a absolutely Bobby Dazzler of a pothole on the way to the motorway, because she used to be a junction up the motorway from this new house. And I thought, my God, that was an horrendous pothole, and I didn't even see it. God only knows how I missed it. I didn't miss it with the car, I'll tell you that. Anyway, it's only the day after I'm looking at where I went through the pothole, and I'm looking at the road up to there and thereafter, before I got to the motorway, and I'm thinking, they're everywhere. They're picking everywhere. There's potholes here, there, and everywhere. And on the roads in Warrington where there's no potholes, the roads are very uneven and very, very worn, and I'm thinking, the country's getting worse and worse and worse. It was weird during the old, the COVID thing, I don't know if you remember it, when Boris had got up on the podium on a nightly basis, one of the things they kept mentioning to address was potholes. And we're going to give X billion pounds to potholes. And he'd mention them once a week, and I'd say to her indoors, why do they keep going on about potholes? There's people dying out there and whatever else. You know, the country's on its knees. Potholes is one of the least problems we've got, and we're going to give this to rail, and we're going to give that to this, we're going to give that to this. And I said, he's just constantly telling you what he's going to give to get things better. The reason he's here on a nightly basis and speaking to us all is how many are dying on a daily basis. He should be looking at addressing that rather than what he's going to give for this and for that and for the other to make the country better. It was like they were trying to blindside us as to what was really happening out there. And I kept saying to her indoors, why did they keep going on about picking potholes? Well, folks, I now understand why. I can see it. I think Dave mentioned to me there's 3 councils that are about to be done because they've not spent anything on potholes for years and years and years. But as I say, as I'm driving around Warrington, I'm thinking to myself, it's just horrendous, it really is. I mentioned it to a pal of mine on train about 2 months ago, funny enough, and I said, do you know what now? I said, when I used to go away many a year ago, there were some countries I'd go, I'd almost call them third world countries. They weren't that bad, but they were miles behind us for amenities and facilities and whatever else. But they'd also be miles behind us road-wise, and you'd think, my God, these are definitely a second-grade country compared to ourselves. The roads were atrocious. I don't mean as bad as your Greek roads, because I believe they've always been bad and still are to a great extent. I don't think I've ever been Greece. But there's other countries in and around Europe where the roads are brilliant. And I've always thought, well, I've just took ours for granted because our roads have always been good or always were. But obviously they've started to deteriorate probably a few years ago now. We all know there's far too many cars on them, and there really is far too many cars. These roads here in Warrington, that for the last 10 years you've struggled to get up because there's cars either side of the road parked up, and the roads weren't built for cars on both sides. I mean, honestly, some of the roads in Warrington are a nightmare. You can wait 5 or 6 minutes for someone to come one way before you can go the other. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. And I just think we've got too many cars on the road. I think we've been ruining our roads for years and years and years, and they've just been left into decay, and they've got worse and worse. And I'm glad Dave mentioned it and pointed it out, because it gives me something to talk about today, as much as anything else. But it's a universal problem. I'm sure wherever you're watching from today, folks, I'll bet you've got a raft of potholes. I mean, I did do something on potholes about 2 months ago. Was it in Wales? I think it was North Wales. They called themselves the pothole capital of the UK, and they were making fun of it and saying they were looking at making a theme park of the potholes to get people to come and visit the potholes. I think they had signs, homemade signs out there and everything. You could put that on almost any town now. Because now I'm out and about on the road more. I'm on the road most days, and wherever I'm going, I tend now to look at the roads and think, God, these are shocking. They really are shocking. We're getting like third worldish. We really are. I mean, the roads are deplorable compared to many other countries in Europe and in the rest of the world. Ours are really, really bad. And then from that, I mentioned trains earlier. I'm at the train station last Thursday. I'm out seeing them couple of mates that I see every 2 or 3 months. We go for a quick afternoon session and home reasonably early before it gets too late. The others, they've got to be in early. So I'm all right. I'm allowed out, but they aren't. We normally knock out. They're about 7:30, 8, 8:30. Anyway, I'm coming home one day last week. I'm coming to the local train station. I'm just one junction up and I live near a train station, so I can walk from there. And I come for my train, and my train should be something like, say, I'm making, I can't remember, say 20 to 8. 1 minute to, 21 minutes to 8, train on time. 20 to 8 comes, no train. Train coming at 90 minutes to, so a minute late, no train. Train coming at 17 minutes to, no train. Train coming at 1:45, no train. Train now not coming, train cancelled. Problems further up there, and I'm thinking, well, why on earth are they saying it was on time a minute before it was supposed to get here? When there's problems further up the track, why have they not told us the train wasn't coming? Then the next train is cancelled. It should be coming at, let's say, 9:05. That's not coming. The next one after that's coming at 9:15. As it turns out, the 9:15 did turn up 1 minute late. But I'm thinking to myself, this British Rail, it's absolutely cack. It really, really is. We're suffering in the northwest now for loads and loads of trains being cancelled. Absolutely loads of them. And while I'm waiting for me second or was it my third train, at about 10 to 9, a train goes the other way. 4 carriages, 1 person on 4 carriages. And I'm thinking, how on earth can they even afford to be running any kind of services when they've got 4 carriages with 1 person on? Now, I know the train's going from Liverpool to Manchester. I do know before it's got to Warrington, some may have departed the train, but the bulk of passengers tend to come out, well, many come to Warrington because it's the next big place after Liverpool. Then the biggest place of the lot's Manchester, that's where most are going to. I'm thinking, 1 on the picking train, how's that working out? And then weirdly, 10 minutes later, train going in the same direction, Liverpool to Manchester, 3/4 full. And I'm thinking, something's amiss somewhere, something's really going wrong somewhere. So trains, absolute joke. Potholes, even worse, much, much worse. Let me know, folks, whereabouts do you live? What area do you live? What's the potholes like near you? And as for British Rail or whatever they want to call themselves, what's your train service like where you live? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it indifferent? Do you suffer from many trains being cancelled or not? Because we do a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot, especially at weekends. It's shocking, it really, really is. You go out for a night in that the Liverpool at weekend and want to come home on the train, you've got to keep looking at your phone every half an hour, see if the late trains are still running. Because if they're not, then you're looking at the old taxi, and you'd rather know than coming out of the old pub early to go to the station for it not to be there. You might as well stay out the extra half hour or hour and get a taxi at a time to suit. Poor though it is, out for night and you can't trust your method of transport to get you home. Even though you paid for a return, you can't trust it at all. Very poor. How I've got from potholes to trains I don't know. I do know, yes, they're both crap. Absolutely crap.